Are you happily single? Hey, this is Todd. Welcome to the Thrive Singles Podcast. Whether you're single again or still single, stop hating being single and learn to thrive. And welcome back for this week's edition of the Thrive Singles Podcast. I'm so glad to have you with me here today as we think about how to thrive as a single person. I always say intro, stop hating being single. Well, is that you? Do you hate being single? Are you one of those who just can't wait to get married? Want to be happily married? Why wait to be happy? Right now is the time to be happily single. Yes, it is possible. Here are some ways to get there. Number 1, live well. There's something about happiness that is counterintuitive. If we chase after pleasure and happiness, they usually elude us. And even when we do find them, after a while they lose their luster and meaning. On the other hand, if we concentrate on doing the next right thing, seek the good of others, and better ourselves mentally, spiritually, and physically, happiness finds us. And life becomes happier and more meaningful as time goes on. I recently ran across an interview of Rabbi Evan Moffick, the author of The Happiness Prayer. A lot of what he said resonated with me. One statement in particular leaped out. He said, quote, "Happiness is a byproduct of life well lived," end quote. In other words, happiness is a byproduct, not a goal. So don't seek happiness, seek to live well. Happiness is a byproduct of that. If you want to be happily single, live well. Want to be happy? Don't take Facebook at face value. People are not always as successful and happy as they look on Facebook. Facebook is not real life. It's more like their personal highlight reel. You see a carefully curated collection of their best moments. It's sort of like a well-produced trailer for a mediocre movie. If you look at Facebook and find yourself feeling worthless or depressed, realize that the smiling people in those pictures and videos, well, they have issues too. They don't look like that all the time. Trust me on this. Their lives are no more perfect than yours. So to be a happy single, turn off social media for a while and go do something that's meaningful to you. Go make some memories of your own. To be happily single, develop quality friendships. One of the biggest markers of longevity and emotional health is how much time you spend socializing with friends. Recent studies have shown that this improves your health as much as quitting smoking. People who spend time with good friends live longer, healthier, and happier lives. Remember, you tend to become like the people you hang out with. So pick your friends carefully. If you want to be happily single, develop friendships. And I mean real friendships, not just social media friendships, with lots of positive, happy people. Now, this is perhaps the worst fallacy that single people fall for, thinking that marriage will make them happy. Getting married will not make you happy. Living together will not make you happy. No kind of relationship with any kind of significant other will make you happy. In fact, you must become happily single first. Then you have a legitimate shot at someday being happily married. If you're unhappy while you're single, you'll be unhappy in a relationship, including but not limited to marriage. The truth is, the only relationship that can make you happy is being in right relationship with your Creator. No human being can make you happy. Another trap that too many singles fall into is believing that if they change who they are, they'll find love and happiness. Now, there may be things about you need to change to become more attractive. But those changes should stem from the intrinsic motive of wanting to better yourself. They should not be made to please or impress somebody else. Changing to make yourself more acceptable to someone else is a fool's errand. It's a slippery slope with no end. You'll end up perpetually changing things about yourself to satisfy the whims of some jerk. On the other hand, standing up for what you believe and living your morals and values will be attractive to the right kinds of people. It'll make you stronger, more attractive, and in the end, happier. That's how you build strong, satisfying relationships. You build it on honesty. You build it on a mutual appreciation of each other for who you are at your core. So, to be happily single and give yourself the best shot at being happily married, be true to your morals and values. To be happily single, treat people well. There is such a thing as sowing and reaping. If you treat badly in pursuit of your own happiness, it will eventually come back to you in the form of your own misery. I purposely used the word misery there because there is some linguistic evidence that other words like miser and miserly and miserable stem from that same root. And I believe that's the case, that a person who is a miser will end up in misery. On the other hand, if you treat people well, that too will eventually come back to you. Just like there's misery in holding back, there's happiness in giving. You have the power to make someone's day by the way you treat them. Give kind words and affirmation. Give deference to those around you. Greet the greeter. Compliment the cashier. You don't have a lot of money? That's no excuse. Smiles, greetings, and compliments cost you nothing to give, but they have a great power to do good. Plus, you'll be amazed how good it makes you feel. So to be happily single, treat people well. Let me share two quotes I really like. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is a spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. End quote. That's Dennis Waitley. And, quote, happiness is not a station you arrive at, but a manner of traveling. End quote. That's by Margaret Lee Runbeck. People love to pin their hopes of happiness on someday, someone, or something. Don't put off happiness until that magical day, thing, or person comes along. To be happily single, decide to be happy here and now, not in a destination, but in the journey. So, to wrap up this week's episode, to be happily single, live well. Don't take Facebook at face value. Develop quality friendships. Realize marriage doesn't make you happy. Be true to your morals and values. Treat people well. And find joy in the journey. I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. See you next week. Till then, be sure to subscribe and go check out my extensive archive of past posts at thrivesingles.com. And thrive on. Whoa, thrive. Yeah, come alive. There's more to life. You gotta grow. You gotta thrive. Whoa, whoa, you gotta thrive. There's more to life than to just survive.